Hi everyone, I welcome you all for the discussion forum on understanding of pharmaceutical sciences. So today what we are going to discuss is about the drug discovery process with Dr. Professor Arun Kumar Gupta. He is a postdoc with the industrial collaboration with AstraZeneca and University of Leeds. He has an expertise in drug discovery process. I welcome you Dr. Arun Kumar Gupta for providing his contribution on the drug discovery process, sir. So today's discussion we will discuss about what is meant by a drug discovery process and the various aspects of drug discovery process. So I welcome you, Dr. Arun Kumar Gupta. Please give an insight about the drug discovery process.
So, good morning to all of you. Actually, it is a very good initiative which is taken by our group of the faculty members because each persons are looking for drug discovery, but they are not actually much aware about this drug discovery protocol. So when we are discussing the different aspect in a question and answer fashion, then it will give good insight to the drug discovery. Actually, the person seems that the drug discovery is a somehow the methodology which may give you the molecule against certain specific disease. But actually, when we look for drug discovery, it is not so simple task. It is a multidisciplinary task. And actually, in this multidisciplinary task, there is minimum 15 to 20 branch of science are involved. Like microbiology is there, like biotechnology is there, like molecular physics is there, molecular biology is there, medicinal chemistry is there, synthetic chemistry is there. Then also some other areas like when we go for the analysis of the synthesized compound, we look for the NMR spectroscopy or mass spectroscopy. So again, there is the need of these NMR experts and mass experts. Apart from that, some other areas also involved for the documentations, then the legal aspect of the molecule which are designed in terms of IPR issue, in terms of patenting type of thing, because the drug discovery protocol is required a huge investment. Now it is, if we assume for the hunting of new drug, it having an approximate cost of near about $1.5 billion. And if you look for the year of investment, that is vary from 12 to 15 years, which is depend on the portfolio of the individual industry or individual organizations. In case of the antimicrobial type of things or the antibacterial type of drug molecular hunting, then the time period may be enhanced. But if you look for the invest if you look for the searching of the molecule against the human body, like cardiovascular disease or like cancer disease, then the investment time is somehow less. It may be vary from 10 to 12 years. As well as nowadays the biologics also come in the pictures, and this biologics is required some specific time periods which may be comparatively less as compared to the small molecules. So again, I take over to the Dr. Hariharan. They may ask some new type
Sir,
of questions which is related with the drug discovery. Yeah,
sir,
Hari.
can you give an insight how the historical development of drug discovery happened? How the
Yeah.
drug discovery process in this modern era has been developed rather than serendipity setup, sir.
Okay. If you look for the hunting of drug, actually in the ancient time or in the old times, the development is occur by means of the serendipity. Some accidental things may take place, and near about 80% drugs are developed through some accidental way. But as science is developed, then some logical or rational things is come in the picture. And for the hunting of drug, there is definitely rationalization of the process is take place. And nowadays, the basic assumption is that the drug discovery can be broadly categorized into two categories. One is the target-driven drug discovery, and another is the activity-driven drug discovery. Basically, if we say target-driven drug discovery means in which we must be aware about the key enzymes or key type of molecules which are involved in the normal functioning of the biological pathway. But generally, if you look for the disease is somehow abnormality in our biological pathway, and we try to just get to the original state of our biological pathway by means of activating of the enzyme or by means of inhibiting of the enzymes. So now in the present time, the drug discovery is completely based on the rationalization type of things, which type of enzymes is involved in the certain specific disease, and how we can improve the end product. If it is synthesized up to some lower level, or in some case, if the end product of the pathway may be synthesized in some extra level, then in that condition, there is the need for inhibition of the enzymes. And if you look for the certain type of microbiological infections, in that case, definitely there is the pathway which is required for the survival of the microorganism. And generally in these biological pathways, there are near about the steps vary from 5 to 20, and out of that 5 to 20, there is the different number of enzymes are involved in that, and out of that them, the some enzymes are essential for the pathway and for the synthesis of the end product. So if the antimicrobial drug is required, then there is need to inhibit that specific enzyme, so the end product which is required for the survival of microbiome is somehow subside, and that microorganism is maybe undergo for killing or maybe undergo for static state. So there may be a microbiome, there may be a bactericidal drugs is coming in the picture, or there may be a bacteriostatic drug come in the picture. But still this type of things having their own drawback. If we go for the target driven discovery, then the key issues arise when we go for transformation of our in vitro data to the in vivo data. There is no direct transformation of this in vitro data to in vivo data, and so many the pharmacokinetic issues is arises, that is called ADME, absorption, distribution, metabolism, and excretion type of things. Apart from that, the toxicity issues also arise. So nowadays the things is somehow come in the form of activity driven drug discovery, in which the compounds are screened for certain specific activity, and it may be ex vivo or it may be in vivo. And later on, once we identify the active molecules, we look for the specific target, on which target they show their inhibitory action. So it is a somehow combination of rationalization of the things. But previously, if we go for the in vivo, then the ADME issue is may be resolved up to certain extent, and the hypothetically we assume that the success rate is comparatively more for this in vivo type of study, or that say the activity driven the discovery. But still nowadays the another terminology is coming in the picture, that is called repurposing of the drugs, and in that we address so many things for the pharmacokinetic type of things as well as the toxicological issues, because already available drugs are screened for new targets or for new disease. So in that case we can overcome the so many type of absorption, distribution, metabolism, and excretion issue. Apart from that, still we also overcome the toxicological issue, because we are already aware about the pattern of pharmacokinetic of available drugs, as well as also aware about the toxicological profiling of the available drugs. So if we want for the early discovery type of methodology, then we go for the repurposing type of things. So we can take one by one each drug discovery protocol, how it affect the process, or how it improve the process, or how it reduce the cost, or how it may decrease the duration of inventions. Yeah.
Sir, as actually see, if for starting any new drug discovery process, how much time period for the small molecules it will take and how much cost it will involve for a small molecule? So we can go one by one. First, we understand about the drug discovery of the small molecules. Then we can go one by one about the various aspects of drug discovery. Can you please explain what will be the duration of cost for identifying a new drug, small molecule drug discovery process?
Yeah, I already told in the current scenario, the duration of drug discovery, if we start from the scratch, means de novo type of drug discovery, in that the duration is vary from 12 to 15 years or 12 to 16 years. This depend on our portfolio. Like if basically we go for the some antimicrobiological drug, then it is vary from 12 to 16 years. But actually, if we look for the drug which is directly act on our system, means it may be act on the cardiovascular disease, or it may be act on the metabolic disorders, then in that conditions, this duration is somehow reduced by 2 to 4 years, because in that case the few hurdles are removed. Because if we directly go for microbiology, antimicrobials, in that case there is the need of the testing of the molecule in two different systems. One is the microbe and other is the human being. But if we go for the metabolic disorders or the cardiovascular disease or like cancers, in that condition there is need to test only the drug on a human system. So many ADME issues which may involve in the microbes is not present in case of, if we look for the metabolic disorder, if we look for the cardiovascular disease. But still the time is not much affected, but maybe 2 to 4 years. But apart from that, if you look for the cost, so generally the cost is vary from 1.5 billion, not million, 1.5 billion to 1.7 billion dollar for one drug. It is so huge amount, and still in that conditions it is it required the complete investment from the day one to the drug reach to the market, or reach to the community, or reach to the society, because the success rate is very, and this success rate generally may depend on the how you can screen out the molecule in different levels. And basically the key cost come under clinical trial studies. And if we identify the false molecules or the false active in the early stage, then we can able to reduce the cost of drug discovery. So there is the another way of drug discovery. One I told, we start from the scratch, means we go for the de novo hunting. But the second way is the me too approach or fast follower approach. In me too approach or fast follower approach, we just try to mimic the available molecules. And when we mimic with the available molecule, then the cost is somehow quite low, as well as duration of drug discovery is also reduced. If you go for the DNA gyrase inhibitors, basically it is a antimicrobial drug, and the examples of this category of drug is norfloxacin, ciprofloxacin, and ofloxacin. So first drug when come under this category, this will come through a de novo methodology or from the scratch. But once we identify that first molecule, that is the nalidixic acid, once we identify that nalidixic acid, then later on there is the need to just modify or go for the changes near the scaffold, that is the fluoroquinolones. And when we go for the modification around this fluoroquinolones, we come with the set of new molecules, and basically core or remain pharmacophores remain same. So in that conditions, the new drugs are come within a 1 or 2 or 3 year periods, but it having a same mechanism which is shown by the nalidixic acid. And again, the investment is quite less, but here the main issue which come, that is the IPR or patenting issue. So there is a need to just crack the patent or to just ruled out the IPR which is claimed by the other person, how they cover their IPR, how they go for the patenting of their finding. And according to that, we just check for the breaking of that IPR. So we are not come under the patenting of that things which is claimed by some other persons. And by virtue of that, we are come with some new molecule, but that is in the some smaller period, as well as here the mechanism is remain same. But when we go for the de novo huntings, then the compound which come, it might have the completely different scaffold, as well as sometimes they also having a different mechanisms when we're looking for some new mechanism. So that thing is required more time as compared to the me too or fast follower approach.
Can you elaborately tell us how the various steps of drug discovery process occur? How a new person, how a company is going to work on a new drug discovery, means what are the various stages they have to go through it until to get a molecule which can be used as a therapeutic one. So can you better explain the steps, sir?
Yeah, definitely there is the different type of methodologies adopted. It depend on which way you start. Suppose if we go for the target driven drug discovery, then they have different type of protocols as compared to the activity driven discovery. So here just we take one, the target driven drug discovery as a examples. So generally, if you look for this target driven drug discovery, any company or any research organization or any academic center is need to set their portfolio. Means firstly they decide the area of research on which they want to go. Suppose in the current time, the hot area is COVID-19. So the research organization or the academic organization is looking for the treatment of this COVID-19. So again, when they just identify their portfolio or their area, then there is the need to go for the finding of the key target which involve in the COVID-19 infections. Suppose here, if we look for this COVID-19 infections, there is the different type of enzymes are engaged themselves for the multiplications of the COVID-19 virus, as well as there is also some enzymes involved in the survival of this COVID-19 enzyme. So now the question is arise here, we are attacking on which target, on the multiplication target or on the survival target. So definitely here we look for the identification of that enzyme which may involve in this two steps. Suppose here we identify the one target that is called the papain-like protease enzymes, and this papain-like protease enzyme having a multiple role. They also play key role in the multiplications of the viral. Apart from that, they also responsible for the immunity type of things. So now if we identify this target, the next thing is arise the things to develop the biochemical assay for that specific enzymes. So we go for the development of biochemical assay which give the idea, or we are able to just identify the inhibition type of things. Means definitely what type of protocols is required. By virtue of that, we can just control the method. In biochemical assay, there is different ways are there. The one thing you can go for the ELISA, enzyme linking sorbitol assay. At some time there is the radio assays are there. At some time there is the absorption assays are there. It may be phosphorescence assays are there, or fluorescence assays are there. So there is need to develop the assays, and after developing of this assay, we look for their sensitivity. It is sensitive or not. Okay, so definitely our assay must be sensitive. So first, just we look for that, and before developing this assay, the one aspect which I just missed, that is there is need to just separate the protein from the microbes, or this from the virus. So there is the things is come when we go for the protein separations, and also after this protein separation we go for the purification, and then the assay type of things. Once we develop this assay, the next thing is come, we go for screening. So now here the question is arise, how we can go for the screening. The generally pharmaceutical companies having their own corporate data, and this corporate data is having a set of compounds which is vary from 10 to 12 million compounds. Okay, and this 10 to 12 million compounds, out of that normally the few of company having their own proprietary chemical or small molecule, and their own proprietary molecules numbers varies from company to company. Some company having their own proprietary molecule, it may be the 5 million or 6 million, some having 8 millions, and the rest of the compound is available in the public domain. So it is vary from 10 to 12 millions. So now after that the things is come, we go for the screening. So before the computational chemistry come in the pictures, these companies are generally going for screening of all these 10 to 12 million compounds against that specific target through high throughput biochemical assay. And in that way, they just go for the screening and come with the hits. So how they identify hits? Here they put some cutoffs for the inhibition of enzymes or activation of enzyme, which is depend which type of target is there. So they just put the cutoff of their IC 50, inhibition constant 50. That may be a 30 micromole, or some company may set at a 50 micromole. So if we go for screening of this 10 to 12 million compounds, and only very few number of compound are able to show the inhibitions on this concentration, and once they identify that compounds, they carry forward them only. But the success rate is very low, because if we go for that, then out of this few million compounds, you may get the few thousand compound which show the activity at 30 millimole, 30 micromole or 50 micromole concentrations. And once they just identify this set of compound, they go for the clustering of the compounds. Means clustering of the compounds is like that, how they have the, how many compounds have the common scaffolds, and they separate that common scaffold on the basis of some similarity type of things. And from that they make a series of compounds like series 1, series 2, series 3, series 4, series 5, like that, which maybe go for the later phase of screening. So by that way they identify the hits. But once they identify the hits, the next thing is come for the conversion of that hits into a lead type of things. So before that, conversion to leads, they look for screening of that compound for the toxicological type of property. And now there are so many tools is come in the picture from the computer where they are able to predict the few of the toxicology of that compound. It may be carcinogenicity of that compounds, or maybe her type of issue of that compounds. Once they do this type of things, they just remove out some series which may sensitive towards the carcinogenicity or towards the her issue that is related to the cardiovascular disorders, or they are just related to the cardiovascular toxicity type of things. So once they just remove out such compound, then they go for the conversion them into, or they just claim them that is lead for the next level. And later on they try to go for the lead optimization, and in that lead optimizations they just synthesize the set of compounds belong to the basic core. It may be 1,000 or 2,000 molecule in such a order that we just finishing the pharmacokinetic profiling, because that compound which obtained through the library, they are not having desired ADME type of property. So in lead optimization process, they try to finish the ADME type of properties, and for that they required at least synthesis of the 1,000 to 2,000 molecule. And when go for this synthesis, they also try to, if some toxicological things are there, they try to just overcome that toxicological issues. As well as here they also try to improve the activity or improve the IC50 of that compound during this lead optimization process, as well as a try to build up some structure activity relationship. Means there may be the direct relation in between the modification of a structure of any specific scaffold and how they alter or how they change the activity. So they just try to build all that type of things, and on the basis of that they have to decide which series can carry forward for the next level, because in this lead optimization process very few series maybe continue for the next level, because in whole process we come with the false positives and we come with some dummy molecules or dummy compound which show the activity due to different reasons. And when we go for the next levels, only one or two series is go to the next level, and that next level we try to just improve their ADME as per our requirement. And once we find out that things, then we go for the preclinical study. Means we just take during that ADME, this lead optimization process, we go for the preclinical study. Means they are able to show the activity in the in vivo model, and if they are able to show the activity in vivo model, similarly go for the optimization process and all that type of things, and they come with the lead optimized molecule, or they may say the drug candidate, and this drug candidate is go for the clinical trial. Means in the human system, that is a clinical phase 1, clinical phase 2, or clinical phase 3. And sometimes again the candidate may fall in the level of clinical trial 1 or clinical trial 2 or clinical trial 3. Then each company keep them with the backup plan. Means they already identify the few of the series. So if one series is fall on the first level, then they follow up with the backup series and go for
Sir, that was an encouraging one. About the various steps, what we are discussing is that first is the target identification, and the followed by the hit identification, then the lead development and lead optimization, followed by the preclinical studies, and finally we end up into the clinical phase studies. So apart from this, what we are discussing is that we want to get an insight of each and every aspect. So in our next series of drug discovery concept with Dr. Arun Kumar Gupta in our discussion forum, we will surely come up with the various ideas, how the various aspects of the drug discovery process we can get an insight. So first, in our next series of discussion, we'll start with the one of the major concept, that is the what I can tell, that the target identification. So I will thank you very much for Dr. Arun Kumar Gupta for putting his various views and insights of the understanding of the basic concept of drug discovery. So I feel that the viewers will continuously watch this series of discussion forum about understanding with pharmaceutical sciences. So you will get an insight of each and every aspect of this drug discovery process. This is our initiative, so I will understand that there will be an improvement in our series in our next future interviews with Dr. Arun Kumar Gupta. So thank you very much. Thank you.